to the 2021 North American Cup Series Bouldering Semifinal. Let's make some noise for our first two competitors, Lily Gertison and Raymond Hansen. If this is your first time watching an on-site bouldering semifinal, you'll notice the start holds have 4 pieces of tape. Those are for your 4 limbs, so 2 feet, 2 hands need to be touching one of those pieces of tape. The competitors will have about 5 minutes, or 5 minutes exactly, to do the climbs. And they can try it as many times as they'd like within that 5-minute time period. There are going to be 4 climbs for each of the genders. To finish the climb, you must have control with both hands on the top. We'd like to thank Michael Thomas for supporting us today. Michael Thomas is downstairs, so grab a coffee.
And that move is incredibly powerful. The left hand triangle that he's going off to go up to that zone hold is really pretty terrible. And again, the wall kicks back right there. So for him to sneak his arm through and then powerfully snatch it, that is a real challenge. You can also see behind that hold, the zone hold, there is a screw on above it, and that is intended to block that hold, so he only has a little bit of the usable surface as opposed to the entirety of the surface. Earlier today, our setters were talking to us about how many of the climbers are familiar with the hold, so they've started being a little more creative by screwing things onto them. That way they're not exactly the way they always know them to be.
Lily doing a really cool bicycle there.
A lot of body tension through those first moves from Lily.
And a really cool drop knee.
The name of the game on this problem is maintaining body tension to keep a foot on so you don't just peel off of the slopers.
Oh.
37 seconds left. We'll see if Lily decides to go on, but it looks like she may choose to take the rest of her time to sit and rest for the next problem.
And once the time is up, they have to stop climbing.
Yeah, some may remember back in the day when you could climb and then once the timer stopped, as long as you were on the wall, you could keep going.
Yes.
That was really exciting, but definitely made time difficult, I think. So we've moved on from that, and now once the time's up, no matter where you're at on the climb, you'd have to come down.
I actually really miss those days because climbers would just try to stay on the wall for as long as possible and rest in attempts to make a top. Okay, so we have 2 new athletes out. Carrie Scott, bib number 30, and Palmer Larson, bib number 62.
And now Lily and Raymond will have the 5 minutes to rest in a chair with their backs to the problems. They do not get to look at their next problem. At the end of the 5 minutes, they will hop on to their number 2 problems while these 2 will rest.
Carrie Scott participated in lead this week and placed 7th.
So talking a little bit about the scoring today, the climbers get points or get zone holds when they secure that little spot where the pink tape goes to zone. They want to get to the zone hold first try for sure, because it does come down sometimes to attempts to separate, especially if multiple people have achieved the same spot. So we see that Palmer has gotten to the zone hold, and then he's looking for the top. To achieve the top, he has to secure the top with both hands showing control, which is sometimes challenging. And you can see he slapped the top but did not secure it, so he won't get the top for that, but he did get the zone on his first try.
And every attempt counts in your scoring too.
If you want to follow along live on the scoring, you can go to usacresults.org/scores, and that will have a live update of the scores as we're getting them in. It is hard after a while to keep up with the math and to understand how many attempts people have, and sometimes attempts really do matter.
Both athletes brushing the holes there, so chalk can collect on the holes and make a chalk cake, making it really hard to hold on. And another reason why athletes brush is just so they can kind of get a feel for the hole. They can't touch those holes with their hands, but they can use the brush kind of as an extension of their hands, like go gadget.
Yeah, it's a great way to go gadget your way up the holds to see what's available to you. Especially for like that zone hold that Palmer was just on. You don't really know what that looks like or what that feels like, because again, those are holds that we normally see in gyms, but the way it's been blocked, you're not exactly sure how much of it you can use. Can you fit your both hands on it comfortably or not? Carrie on her second attempt on this, maybe third.
She's looking really strong on these first moves. Oh, and just barely misses.
You know, some athletes may opt to throw a left heel hook in that white sloper that she had just a toe on. That could pull your hips in more, but it may restrict your reach if you're not able to pull over your hip. She had used her toe. We'll see if she changes her beta on the next go.
So Carrie had 1 top in qualifiers, and Palmer had 3.
And Raymond Hansen will be jumping onto their second problems. Lily comes to us from Las Vegas, and she does a lot of outdoor climbing, which is pretty excellent, although this kind of climbing may not be very similar to what she gets around the Vegas area. Run and jumps aren't very common outdoors.
I believe she sets at her gym, though, so she may have some experience in volume run and jumps.
For sure. So you can run and jump that, or you can also just stand up on it and find your balance and body tension through it. Helen's choosing that left heel we had talked about earlier. Men's too is a really cool problem. So it's going to require a pogo throw foot and catch, just like we saw Raymond try. Just didn't quite stick it.
So we have Joe Goodacre, bib 11, making really good progress. He's eyeing up that top.
Ooh, great body tension.
And he flagged out right to keep that body tension.
And he's off camera, but he did top that. So great start for Joe today. So we have 3 climbers remaining on the wall.
Oh, Lily made the run and jump, almost made it work.
When she does that run and jump, she's pressing up into the wall that's gray there, but she's going to have to reach down and touch the start holds still in order to move on, because she does have to show control on the start holds. So you can see 3 spots are taped on the bottom where her feet are, so she's going to have to reach down with one hand, and then one hand will be on the other. Helen, again, using that heel hook. I think that's a really secure way to do that move. Bumps and secures the zone hold.
Tries to hold the swing, but just couldn't hold on.
Oh, and while Lily did manage to do the first move on there, she did not stick it.
Oh, Raymond going for a really dynamic beta there.
That's going to be a really fun problem to watch today. I think when we start seeing the men sticking it, it's going to be a wild show.
It seems like Lily has changed her mind and is no longer running towards the hole, but statically is trying to start. And it seems to be working.
Yeah, and then she has to jump out of that crouch position and grab that fin, which is positive but flat. And, you know, at that point you would really just love to have a jug to grab onto. So she's going to have to keep her body from swinging out so the momentum does not take her off. So less of a crouch perhaps, so she doesn't have as much momentum jumping up, will be the ticket for her to be able to stick that. I'll be curious to see some of our taller climbers on that. While the scrunch may be difficult, they may not have to jump as much. I'm thinking Alex Johnson in particular. Flying leg over, catch the zone, but his foot missed. His hand hit and his foot missed. That technical coordination.
Let's go, Lily. You got this. Come on.
Helen eyeing up the finish there. Hopefully she can remember to hit that jib on the finish hold.
And we're seeing that last move prove to be really challenging. She was in a very similar position that we saw earlier that just was so close but not quite sticking.
I think it's rather powerful. So I think they just need to really engage their lats and push over to hit that blind jib.
Helen Stevens has climbed in all 3 disciplines this week now, so she may be feeling a little tired as well. I'm sure a lot of the climbers by tonight that make finals, that have made finals for speed and lead, are going to be feeling the effects. Yes.
And he sticks it.
That was so exciting to watch. I stopped talking. I couldn't multitask. So this last move is actually going to be really challenging too, because the top hold, there's a little screw on the very top of that, but it's going to have dual texture on it. So if you're not really controlled going to it, you're not going to feel very happy about it.
And the screw-on hold is red, so it's really hard to see from the screen if you're wondering what we're talking about.
Out next, we have Adriana Jacobson on problem 1 and Kai Leitner.
Kai Leitner's usually one of the crowd favorites to watch. He climbs things a little differently because he's so much taller than most of the other climbers.
Adriana Jacobson doing a great job behind Kai there, already securing the zone hold, finding the correct beta through there.
And we have a top by Palmer Larson on men's 2.
You know, I was surprised to see Palmer come in at such a low rank. He usually is higher up in the rankings, so I think we can expect to see he'll do pretty well.
And Kai Leitner still on his flash attempt. And looks like he has maybe one hold on the finish.
Yep, there he is. He's just got to hold it together while he secures the match. Ooh, that was close.
I don't know. Yeah.
He got it, though. I think that if they don't give that to him, I'd be surprised.
There is an appeal time where he can, if they do not give it to him, that can be appealed.
Now we have Carrie Scott using the brush, probably really and truly to check out how bad that hold is and maybe the best spot to grab that upper hold. And there already is some black shoe rubber on the start hold of the volume, so she's probably trying to clean that up a little and get any friction she can. Seems like the softer your shoe, the better the start would be for Carrie Scott's women's 2 problem.
So both men are, I believe, flashed their problems.
Yeah, they're done. So now we can focus on the ladies. What a great stick. Good body tension. She's secured the zone, first woman to do so. She's looking to throw her heel up and then rock up right hand into some heinous side pull gas stone action to finish this problem out. This is actually probably the hard part.
Very shouldery there.
And she may want to just find herself in a froggy position to reach out. It's just a really interesting body position, and it's sort of a steep section still. So for her to be able to reach out to the next hold will require some funky body positioning to create that tension.
But very good attempt.
You can see Adriana Jacobson in the background resting still, taking her time with 2 minutes left. It's always tricky thinking about when to get on. It depends sometimes how long the problem will take, how many moves there are, how quickly you can do the bottom section. For her right now, she's breathing pretty hard, so she may think about taking a rest right up until a minute, maybe a minute 30 is left, and then hopping on.
Also, how likely do you think you're going to top the problem? So if you're really tired and you know you can top it, then you might take a longer break and try to top it at the very last minute. It's a little risky, but I've seen that happen. So Carrie had 2 tops. Carrie had 1 top in qualifiers. But she's definitely looking for a top on this problem.
That's a really powerful move to get up over the heel. Let's see if she can find a different body position. And just powered out. That's a lot of shoulders. And with 1 minute remaining, Adriana Jacobson hopped back on.
And Adriana had 2 tops in qualifiers.
Oof. You know, another important note, Flavia, is that we are at almost 6,000 feet above sea level right now. And a lot of people forget that Albuquerque is so high. They always think of Denver as like the high city, but we're actually nearly as high up in elevation. And that can really have an effect, that combined with mask wearing. A lot of these climbers are coming from lower elevation, some even from sea level. So the combination of all of those factors make it hard sometimes for these athletes to breathe.
Absolutely. So we're going to have new climbers come out now.
Our next ones out are Campbell Serenopoulos and Jesse Grouper.
So Jesse had 4 tops in qualifiers.
He's had some really impressive sends too, 515A for lead climbing, so I suspect he is no stranger to climbing very, very strongly.
Campbell having a very good flash attempt on women's 1.
Wow, that was a lot of power from Campbell. She was able to let her foot come off and put her foot back on and keep the body tension without falling.
And on men's 2,
Wow.
we had a top from Joe Goodacre.
That was really impressive. I did not expect, having looked at these holds earlier, that anybody could be so dynamic to that last hold as he just was and stick it.
And Jesse here just trying to find a way to control the top, and he does it.
Wow, so now we can see all of these problems are doable. We're starting to see tops from many of them.
And we have Lily on women's 3 here. This one, you just have to wrestle some volumes.
Yeah, Fabia and I actually had the privilege of trying all of these problems for about 15 minutes this morning. And I enjoyed women's 3, but I predict that women's 3 is the hardest of the women's problems today. It's just really complicated. It's complex. Sometimes when you have all that surface area to work with, all of those different volumes, it's hard to find the best route. It's steep. They all are, actually. All the problems are steep today.
Well, in qualifiers, there was one problem called the murder slab. So I think the the athletes are very happy to not have to do too much slab today.
Ooh, great body tension from Helen as she sticks that. Now she's just looking to campus up to the next hold before she throws her heel. Whoa, a 2-finger catch. Let's see if she can wrap it up. Nope. That's a pretty difficult place to come from.
Lily getting creative there on the volumes. And Campbell trying to get some power for that last move.
That last move is proving to be really cruxy for these women. You can see that Lily brought her foot up to tap to just show control as she started that problem, which again is an important part. If you don't do that, they will have to call you off. And sometimes that can be really frustrating because it might be the only time you've stuck the start holds. Ooh, Helen's looking frustrated with that start. Having tried that start a few times, I can relate. It's really challenging. So Lily's reaching her hand up, trying to find the best spot of that volume. Finding that undercling, she could knee bar. It looks like she's taking that wide foot stance. The ultimate goal will be to reach her right hand out to that green hold.
That problem really tests your flexibility. Just trying to start, you have to put your leg really high up, particularly as a smaller, shorter climber.
With 1 minute left, this leaves Helen quite a bit of time to try this section because the first part moves along quite quickly.
And we have Raymond on 3 here.
So each of the climbers are probably closing in on their last go of their problem before they run out of time. Oh.
So Lily's...
I didn't see her start. I don't know if she controlled that start hold with her foot or not, but she fell anyway. 19 seconds left. All of the climbers are stepping back to the chair for their rest.
I know she was really hoping to get a zone there. If you can't top, getting a zone is very important.
So the athletes are listening behind that curtain off to the right there. That's a big tarp. That's where they're warming up. They can hear what's going on. They can tell that there haven't been as many tops. So especially from the women. So they probably are sensing that zones are of the utmost importance today. Ariana Matthews stepping out onto women's 1 with Sean Faulkner on number 2.
And we have Kai Leitner
Or on
here
number 1. Sorry.
on men's 2.
Maybe we'll see the first top from Ariana Matthews on that problem. Wow, an excellent kick through. That was really beautiful. And Kai able to control that. That blue hold that he tried to step on momentarily is a dual textured hold. It's really slippery, so he made a good choice kind of pulling his foot off and just finding the body tension for that move.
He popped his foot off so fast, he's like, oh no.
That is not what I want to use. Good move, buddy.
I believe that could be another flash. He's doing really well today.
Yeah, so if you are wanting to follow along on the scores, you can go to usacresults.org/scores, and it will show you live updated scores.
And we have Sean Faulkner here, eyeing up the top hold on men's number 1. And he went really dynamically. I think it's a little too slopey to go that powerfully to that hold.
Adriana Jacobson is looking really solid up there. She's trying to find her body position to be able to reach out, thinking about a drop knee, thinking about squatting, ultimately going for the dynamic movement, which was sort of the Hail Mary, let's do this. I'm curious to see if anybody tries frogging up there to sort of reach out, but that may be really challenging too.
And Carrie Scott, she made it to the zone. That was our first time seeing any lady make it that far.
Carrie Scott is sitting with zones on all 3 of her boulder problems, 3 of the 4, so she's looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, she's currently in the lead, but we'll see how this changes as more climbers come out.
There are 21 women competing today. 20 are supposed to pass through. There was a scoring error that happened, and so in the end, they added 1 more woman to be fair to an order that had been posted previously. So it's great to see all of these women out. There will be 20 men out in all. Sean Faulkner looking for some body tension through these holds. You can see how intense that is on your right shoulder. I don't think arms are supposed to bend that way, but we climbers make them do that.
Climbing makes everything bend weird.
Yes. And then not bend later.
Yes.
Looking for body tension, he sinks his thumb into the bolt hole, which is totally legal, and then has a sneaky little bicycle with his right foot to maintain that body tension. That was really, really well done.
Yeah, he learned from his first attempt that he had to be more in control and use a little less dynamic power there. And this is Adriana. For a second, she tried your froggy position.
I'm determined to see that happen. With 1 minute left, the climbers are looking for likely their last attempts.
So Ariana, her last attempt, she actually grazed the top hold. So that was our best attempt so far. Hopefully she has a little bit of power left to stick it this time.
So much body tension through here. It can be really exhausting to do this problem over and over. You know, really good power and arm through her right arm on that, but just not enough to get there.
And we have Palmer Larson here on men's 3.
Grappling with those awful pinches.
And the top is the white hold that is screwed onto the volume. So they have to match that hold.
With 10 seconds left, the climbers are going to have a seat, and we'll bring out the next climbers. This will load the wall now, I believe.
It should. There should be 4 men and 4 women out. So we have Jesse Grouper on men's 2 here, number 38.
And out now for the women. Oh, we'll pull over there.
Isis. She is one of our local climbers here in Albuquerque.
With our first look at women's 4.
With Lily.
Lily had a really good first go. Those little jelly bean holds, the black ones, they're kind of all over this wall today. They are dual textured, meaning they have a lot of friction on the hold part, but then on the other parts of the surface, they are not textured. So they're really challenging to use. Would love to see Isis do well today. Isis is just, she's a local, so we of course love her, and we're rooting for her. First look at the men's problem. So he's going to push off those 2 feet. He's got a really pretty good undercling there, and he'll push off and go up into a less than awesome hold, and then go to a toe hook. Oh, again, that tension. He didn't find the bolt hole for his thumb, as we saw before.
He also went with a little bit too dynamic movement there. You want to be more control, because that top hold is not good. Here's Lily making the zone again.
Just trying to find her feet. And we're told that even sticking that last hold is really challenging, despite the fact that it looks like a big old hole in the wall. It's actually quite challenging to hang on to. Isis dynamic through the first section, but perhaps saving some of her body tension energy for later moves. Ugh, it seems like she had that and just missed.
So we have Lucas Odie on number 1 here with a really fun chalk bag. And there you go. He slowed it down a bit.
Ooh, he's opting to flip around and face the crowd, which is always fun for the match. Sometimes that is the best method. And now we're back over to men's 4 again, which is cool to see the start of that. You can see that hold is pretty open-handed. He's going to have to bring his toe hook up to maintain some control and then ride that toe hook for a little while here, which creates a lot of body tension, especially as it's the 4th route for these gentlemen, and having anything left is hard. Big wild throw, but I think once they get there, they'll be pretty satisfied if they can stick it. Jesse Grouper getting ready for that crazy wild sideways pogo hand catch movement to the zone. Very
and
nice.
he does it smoothly.
Yeah, that looked pretty easy for him. Looking for that screw on at the top. That's the only usable surface other than what's underneath of the hold, which they're not going to be able to use because of the orientation.
Oh, he's trying to use that black hold despite the blue blocker hold. Oh, he changes his mind.
Yeah, and if you're wondering about why that blue shiny hold is there, it is intended to block them from using their feet, just as we saw happen.
Yes.
Ooh, oh, you can appreciate how bad those holds are and how steep the wall is.
And appreciate her tights.
Yes.
They're quite fun.
I like them. We saw number 7, Lily Stevens, in the background there, wrestling with women's number 3, which, again, I think is probably the hardest of the women's problems, and not really making it any further than we've seen before.
And Joe Goodacre just slips off those pinches, those heinous pinches.
Isis just needs to keep this body tension through these moves.
And Raymond doing pretty good here on men's problem 4. He kind of has to make a somewhat blind throw to that red hold.
We were told earlier that red zone hold that he was going to is oriented kind of oddly, and so the men might have to figure out how to hold it by touching it once or twice before they actually stick it. Wow, look at Helen. She's making really good work. Oh, but doesn't not secure the zone there, so Helen, number 7, misses that zone. 16 seconds left, so the climbers are fighting for one more shot to either secure the top or the zone, and what a disappointing fall.
Oh, I know Jesse's probably a little disappointed about that.
Now
Okay.
we're back up again to a full wall. We
should have Tim King out on men's number 1.
and Zoe Bushman will be out for the women's number 1.
So Tim had 5 tops in qualifiers.
One thing I appreciate about Tim as an outdoor climber myself is he says he loves outdoor climbing just as much as indoor climbing, which I do appreciate seeing that. I like seeing people cross over still and continue to push the grades outdoors.
Kai Leitner got on the wall very quick and is already mostly up the wall.
Here's Zoe. We'll see if she can find her way to the top of women's 1, a feat that has not yet been accomplished. It's starting to look like if a woman can top a problem, Flavia, that might be a good chance for them to move on to finals today, which is pretty wild.
And
Wow.
Tim topped the problem. Men's number 1. He went to that top hole with so much control.
This is really casual. That was quite impressive.
So Carrie Scott on these blue holds here. She's made the zone.
So we are going in reverse order, meaning the climbers that we saw out first were the ranked 20th, 19th, 18th, and so on from qualifiers. And the last climbers we'll see out today are ranked at the very top. So in theory, we should see the climbers doing better and better on these holds with the occasional misfit, the person that should have done better in qualifiers. I think Palmer Larson, for me, was one of those people I was surprised to see a lower ranking going in.
Here's Kai Leitner on men's 3.
Pinching those level volumes. They have no friction on the stripe along the outside, so he's forced to just pinch. Wow.
You can tell those are so hard. He's trying so hard.
And it's really steep. Once the climbers have finished their round, they can sit back and watch and learn and wonder why they didn't try that beta or or wish they had one more go. Sometimes that's actually more painful to have happen.
Carrie Scott on the jelly beans. And the one jelly bean is blocked by a volume, so making it require a lot of accuracy to hit it.
Ooh, and maybe we'll get to see the first look at this top, which again is not a gimme. It looks big. Ooh, wild fall. That was exciting, but that's exactly why a little more control is going to be critical on that men's problem.
Yeah, Sean going one-handed there was quite exciting.
Adriana Jacobson seeing if she can make sense of women's 3, something that hasn't really been achieved yet. A zone on that problem may be the ultimate rather than a top.
Ariana, just slipping off.
Yeah, she was a little confused at first if she wanted to campus the move or throw a heel up early, and she maybe wasted a touch of energy, so her next go may be different. Now Zoe looking very controlled. She knows the plan. She knows what she needs to do. The question is, can she execute? Oh, just getting
Not that time.
spit off of that climb. These climbs are relentless. It's making me feel a little better about trying them earlier and finding them just nearly impossible.
Sean making that move look easy. Hopefully he'll slow it down a little bit. No, that was a little slower, but still not enough control. And Carrie Scott finding herself at the top, but just slipping off that really bad hold. It looks big, but it's not good.
And then we're left with Kai. And an unfortunate heel hook pulls him off. Oh, we have one more attempt here from Zoe, but she's just probably powered out. That section of the wall, Favia, I actually usually avoid because it's just too steep. It's exhausting.
It's the only section I climb.
The last 10 seconds of exciting falls before we launch our next round. Next out, we have Alex Johnson, number 29. She is a favorite, I'm sure. She's been around for, I don't want to say she's been around for a while because that makes her seem older than she is. She's really not that old, but she's been around for a while, and it's fun to see her out competing. I think it's inspiring for people, especially when people are starting to think that this is a kid's sport. For the men, we have Oscar Bouldering.
So Alex in qualifiers, she was such a leader. She was brushing the holds for other competitors. She's like, I just want to make it the best for everyone. So it was great to see that wonderful sportsmanship.
She's a role model for a lot of these people. Many of these kids have been watching her for a long time. Oscar looking good. Can he just secure that top? Opting for the heel hook.
Whoa.
That was so
yes.
great. Good control. Almost an unfortunate slip. I think that was a flash.
That was a flash from Oscar.
Oh, and we're seeing things happening now. We've got a stick from
Joe Goodacre.
Wow.
So from here, he should do a heel hook to reach out to the top.
Yeah, and that match is pretty heinous. Those holds are not that good. But he manages, and also, I think it was his second attempt.
Yes. So we have Lucas here.
Lucas Odie looking for some control for his last go here. Or is the last move?
Oh, he decided to go 2 hands, double clutch that.
I don't know. I would be surprised. I'd be very impressed to see anybody double clutch that today. I just don't think that's the easiest way to go. Oh, Helen's just opting to skip that black hold bump altogether. Why not? Just go to the top. But I think what she's going to find is that hold is not as good as it looks. Helen is tall, though, so she can utilize some of her height to her advantage.
Yeah, it looked pretty good for her. She got her hand on it at least.
Yeah, if she can maybe get some more control, we'll see if she tries it again. Isis standing up into women's 2. Oh, it's just such a difficult volume to stand on.
Lucas going for that top again, and he's trying to use that blocked hold. Looks like he's gonna try to do it in a more controlled fashion this time. Oh.
That's really tough. All right, Helen, let's see what you do. Are you going to bump? Are you going to go?
She's going for it.
Okay. Two tries at that. We'll see if she changes the next time. Sometimes it's easy to get tunnel vision and keep trying the same thing over and over because there's some promise in it. We're looking for the zone. All right.
Campbell has the zone on women's 3.
Oof. That dual texture just showed its evil ways on those jelly beans. As she was trying to pinch it, she got nothing out of it.
Jesse making his way up the pinches. He's looking pretty good on them.
That hop hold is pretty good.
Look at that. We're getting a top on men's 3.
Oh, and meanwhile, Isis in the background had gotten her high point.
So we have Lucas here again. At least he has that move down. Isis back on. It looks like she sticks it.
Yes, Isis throwing that heel up, number 2 there. Oh, but you could see she never had her left hand. She never had that wrapped up, that crimp. She was very open and just slowly getting more and more open.
But I believe she held it enough to get control of the zone.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Just not going to be able to keep going off that. 47 seconds left. We'll see. At this point, does Helen change her beta? Does she just go for it? Looks like she's looking at the bump. I think that's a prudent move. But then what to do with her feet? Oh, now if only she had 1 or 2 more tries.
Lucas going for that double clutch again.
Although he has controlled it a little bit more, you know, I think with some time he could potentially stick it that way. It just needed a little more refining before he could get there.
So these problems are hard, and trying to do them in the time allotted is a very difficult task. Yesterday, the men's problems were between V5 and V12, and the women's were similarly between V5 and V11. So 4 minutes or 5 minutes to do those grades is quite incredible.
And if you think to yourself, well, V5 isn't that hard, it's usually only V5 because it's incredibly tricky. And the beta or the way in which you do the route is more challenging than your average V5.
Indeed. So we have Kai Leitner on men's 4.
Kai is having a very solid round so far. Ooh, an interesting change. Wow, that kind of strength that he could feel that hold out and then drop back into that bump was super impressive. That toe hook will feel very scrunchy for him, though.
Yeah, I think his height is hindering him there because it's hard for him to hold it because he's so scrunched.
Quino Francia here looking solid on the zone. Looking to, match. That match is so challenging. Well, Tim Kang eyes up the final hold. Oh, he looked so relaxed and so brave as he ended up going sideways.
He actually recently moved to Salt Lake City to work on his comp mental game, so it seems to be helping him.
Yeah, and it totally is a mental game. If you climb hard outside, that doesn't really mean you're going to do well in this world. at all. So I think that Kai's actually been forced to use that upper handhold on this just because he doesn't fit in that little box with the tow hook. He's more comfortable the other way.
Tim just missed the large volume there. And we have Adrienne Clark on women's 1 here.
Adrienne finished 11th in lead, so she's been here for the week competing.
And we have Ariana Matthews here on women's 3, wrestling those volumes and hitting the zone.
I'm not sure if they'll give her control on that or not.
Kai Leitner controlling the zone.
And that's what Kai is so good at, is he can figure out how to fit his body into these little spaces. He's so creative. He's such a good competitor, and he's eyeing up the top. And he sticks it. What a great day for Kai.
Let's get a rundown of where we're at in scores.
Okay. So we have Joe Goodacre currently sitting in first with 3 tops in 1 zone, with Kai Leitner also having 3 tops in 1 zone. The difference is the number of attempts. So it took Joe Goodacre 1 attempt for all of his tops, while Kai needed 3 attempts for his last top. Right now, for the women, we only have 1 top from all of the women that have come out thus far, and that is Alex Johnson on Boulder 1.
Awesome. We missed that, but looks like she flashed it.
Well, that's probably why we missed it. She was so quick.
She was like the Flash.
So you'll notice some red tape on the wall as well throughout. That just shows kind of the areas that the climbers are not supposed to go beyond. It's a boundary that they can't use beyond, partly for safety and partly because if they're trying to reach beyond, they might be able to use a surface or another hold.
Sean coming down there, looking at his hands.
Zoe just missing that zone hold. The excitement's growing. You can hear the crowd starting to get behind as Tim falls.
Going for the double clutch beta as well. Right now we have Adriana trying to figure out how to match that awful last hold.
Oh. And that is what the setters warned us of. They said they're going to think they've got it if they can get their hand in there, but they won't.
And Tim is back on the wall. Oh, he climbed that in so few seconds.
And Zoe's hoping for just the zone here likely. She hasn't, yes, she's got it. And maybe she can pull something out, but with time up, she has to drop down. But at least she secured the zone on that, which is really helpful for a score overall. Out next for the men, we have Simon Hibbler. Simon has climbed V14, so he's a strong boulderer. Of course, most of these men are.
So that's Oscar eyeing up the top again, and he successfully does the double clutch dyno to the top.
In style with his wonderful Hawaiian shirt. Oscar is actually competing with his brother this week too in finals. Oh.
We have Jesse on number 4 here. Eyeing up the zone hold, and it comes up a little bit short. We have Isis here trying to get that zone. And Lucas just falling off the pinch problem. Oh. Everyone's eyeing up the problem, shaking it out. Determining how much rest you need between the problems is very difficult.
We're really getting a good look now at this women's number 4 problem that we weren't seeing earlier. It's all about finding your feet and creating that body tension. Her foot slipped, her right foot slipped because she was forced to stand on that slippery surface of the dual textured hold.
We have Simon here. Successfully has the zone, but is now going for the top. Looks like he's trying to figure out what to do with his feet, if he should go dynamically. Oh, and he manages to hold the barn door. That's incredibly difficult.
Yeah, and he had his body just moving that direction so he could kind of use that force of the direction to stay on.
Jesse doing some good toe hooks there and is now trying to go for the zone. Oh, and he kind of just misses it a bit.
Yeah, that hold, I think the orientation of it, the size of it, and the way that you're kind of blindly throwing over your head makes it really difficult to secure. See if she can find her feet a little more secure as she steps on that dual textured hold. But that slip is just so tricky. It's so hard to stand on that.
Yeah, Campbell's feet were secure, but she still came up short. Alex Johnson taking a nice break there. Trying to make a plan on what she's going to execute.
You know, the more these climbers compete, the more they recognize how much time they need in between climbs, how each climb might vary on that amount of time they need, and what each climb may require from them for execution. And you can see that that comes through in Alex's whole persona, and that she was able to just sit down and take a break on that problem.
Jesse really wanting to get that zone. He won't have too much time to have more attempts after this one.
Yeah, we had the same approach as we saw from Kai earlier, from grabbing that higher of the two black holds there.
That was his best attempt. He got his fingers on the zone, but not enough to earn a zone point.
So with 26 seconds, the climbers are forced to decide if they want to try again.
And he decides to go for it.
I was hoping he would. He looks close to sticking the zone, and it's his last problem, so what does he have to lose? Out next for the women is Megan Lynch. Megan Lynch has made her way here for the bouldering. She is a really excellent boulder. I was privileged to see her at the Yankin Yard here in New Mexico a few years ago, and she was really strong, so I'm happy to see her back out again.
Ariana here on the jelly beans, and she gets a zone.
The crazy tension she had right there from her right heel to her left toe. Ugh.
We have Quinn here on men's 2.
The precise foot movement.
Very curious to see what method he goes. We've seen so many different types of beta here.
Ooh, and he manages that double clutch. He does it with so much control, though, that he doesn't swing as much as we saw from some of the earlier competitors. And a zone secured from Zoe.
Almost
sorry.
a zone.
Sorry, I was one hold behind.
I thought maybe you were predicting the future.
I was. She will secure the zone. Oh, and look at that over on women's number 2.
We have Adrienne Clark getting froggy with it.
Ah, I'm so excited. She has time, though. I think she'll be able to figure that out with 3 minutes to go.
Tim on those pinches, going for the zone and just misses it, or going for the top, sorry. And we have Solomon Barth here, trying to make a good match on that. And he's able to hold it so far. See if he can get his second hand up there.
Sneaking that heel hook in after that very cool drive by. So after the women have been out so far, if you will succeed in being second place if you have all 4 zones, which is pretty impressive considering we now have 12 of the 21 women out. So yeah, it's going to be a hard day, I think.
And the route setters can adjust the finals problem depending on how the climbers do today. So if they see they're really powered out, they might make some small adjustments.
Of course, we're only just getting into the top half of the competitors, too, so we may see a whole shift in ability. Oh, Megan looked so solid. The difference between her and the other competitors is that she still had her right arm really bent, and when she reached out, she was much closer to that little peanut screw-on.
Ariana here on the zone. I'm really hoping to see someone stick that awful donut.
We will.
Sean Faulkner here on men's 4, just slipping off.
Sean really does need to top this one. Right now, the top 2 men have topped 3 problems. Sean's only topped 1, so in order for him to have any hope of making it into finals, he would have to top 2, although that may still be a lost cause. We'll see. Adrienne trying to find a smear or a heel hook before reaching up. Most women opting to camp as that move. And then she's having to piano her fingers over to get that match.
And Tim just slips off the top hold.
Ooh.
Oh.
That is an incredible amount of shoulder tension to double Gaston like that.
To kind of throw into a double Gaston like that.
Yeah. But she knew she was almost out of time, so she had to move quickly, and that was probably the best option she had in the moment.
So we have Ben Hanna on men's 1. He is also a New Mexico local.
And Katie Bone is also out, and she is also a New Mexican, so it'll be hard for Fabi and I to choose who to talk about this time because they're both beloved by us. I expect big things from both of them today, and I hope to see them both in finals.
Ben Hanna is no stranger to the comp world. He is strong indoors and out.
And he generally does really well when he's in front of his home crowd.
And Katie, she has been climbing for several days now.
Yes, she has done lead and speed. She took 3rd on Friday in speed. Finding really excellent body tension. Katie's looking at the last move. This is her first go. Oh, that was so powerful.
Yes.
And the match, and she's the first top, second top for women's 1 besides Alex Johnson.
And a top from Ben Hanna.
And a little extra pull-up at the end just to make sure. And actually, we have 3 New Mexicans on. Here's Isis now looking pretty solid on women's number 4. Ah, the elusive last hold. You can see Alex Johnson there on women's number 3.
We have Paige here brushing up women's 2. But Alex making good work until then.
Yeah, we haven't seen much beyond that.
We have Lucas on men's 4. Making his way through. Trying to go to that zone with a different hand, I believe.
I would be surprised to see anybody stick that zone with their right hand, but these people are very strong.
They are so strong that I believe they can do nearly anything. Paige rocking on that heel, trying to get up.
Well, she's trying to figure out how to push into that other hold. If you've ever found yourself in this position where you're laying back one and you're having to come into a Gaston with these narrow holds together, that's really hard. I think sometimes people with narrower shoulders have a little advantage. Isis is taking a breather before she hops back on.
But Alex Johnson on the wall. And now not.
I feel like at a minute 30, we usually don't see anybody on the wall unless they started a while ago. It's like the probably most reliable moment of rest on climbing competitions. And there goes Isis, finding her way through those dual textured jelly beans, looking for the bump. There it is. And just explodes backwards off. Let's see if he goes left this time or if he still continues with that right hand beta. To me, it seems like even if he caught it perfectly, which he can't do as well because it's so blind, the swing would probably rip him right off that hold. Paige finding that delicate balance to that explosive movement. What a fun problem.
Oh.
With 40 seconds left, she figured she didn't waste much energy on that first go, so let's try it again.
And that was a very smart decision.
Yeah, especially because she is getting so high on this problem, and she needs all the time she can to suss out these last little Gaston moves.
The climbers aren't allowed to touch the top of the wall. Just in case you're wondering why isn't she just using that part.
So it seems like if she had reached out like she just was trying to, caught with the right hand, and then threw her left hand into that other one that she just had her right hand on, really dynamic coordination, I think she can stick that top. We'll have to see. We'll watch some of the later competitors. All climbers getting busy here, brushing the holds as we're, more than halfway through. Getting everybody to brush these holds is probably really helpful for the later climbers too.
We have Nora Chi on women's 1.
Nora riding the high of her Friday speed win, which was to her a surprise, but not a surprise to people that know her well. She's a very humble climber, but incredibly strong.
Yes, I saw her power up a slab yesterday. It was really, really impressive.
I hope to see Nora in finals today. But I won't make any predictions so I don't curse her.
She's looking good so far.
But that's her first go, and she was already touching it. She just needs a little more control, a little more tension through her core, I think, to make that move work.
A little more oomph.
A little more oomph. Solomon moving into the crazy little foot huck catch. So fun to watch. I want to be able to do that someday, but I'm afraid that the coordination for me is maybe never going to be there.
And he's choosing to use the blocked foothold.
Oh, he looked a little surprised that he didn't stick that, actually. Okay, and now we've got a good look at women's two as she comes down. I was curious to see if she's going to try a little coordination action at the top there.
That was a fantastic attempt by Megan. And we have a top by Zach Richardson on men's one.
Zoe is one of our many Canadian climbers here today. Because it is the North American Cup Series, she's here representing Canada. We have had climbers from Canada, Ecuador, and Mexico. See how Zoe does on women's 4 here.
Looking strong so far. A nice little back flag there to help her balance. And then kind of a pogo up to the top.
Yeah, the pogo may or may not work. I'm not sure. We'll see how that goes for her.
It kind of shot her away from the wall.
It did. Ooh, finding an undercling for a moment there from Solomon. That seemed almost promising, but didn't quite work out for him. Meanwhile, we've got Adrienne Clark finding her way through, not yet to the zone hold of the women's problem, number 3, but slapping at it, so perhaps a later go she'll find it.
And Megan Lynch back on women's 2. She makes that look so easy.
Yeah, so far I feel like Megan has been our closest person to get a top on that problem, but we're at 1 minute 30. She's got a little time to rest, maybe one more go.
All the athletes just planning and thinking and resting, chalking up.
Waiting for that 1 minute moment to hop back on the wall. Zoe looking very comfortable with these bottom moves of women's 4.
Yeah, she was going very dynamically compared to some other climbers who used more hill hooks and went more statically.
Wow, she was going, I believe she was going to mono the bolt hole.
Yes.
That was crazy, but an option, certainly legal.
I believe Ben Hanna did that in qualifiers. He used a bolt hold as a mono, and it worked.
Yeah, that's disgusting, but cool for him.
You got the froggy. Here
Yes.
is Megan Lynch trying the frog position.
Last attempts here from all the athletes as we're ticking down to the last 15 seconds. Got a peace sign from Alex Johnson, who knew she was on camera. So I'm hoping to see another top from Alex Johnson. It seems like 2 tops from her would secure her spot in finals. I can't make that 100% prediction, but it seems like it'd be pretty promising. So I think she can do it.
And
this seems to cater to her strengths, this route.
And on men's 1, we have another Albuquerque local, Oliver Kwong. And on women's 1, we should have Julia Duffy. Ollie is so humble, but climbs so strong and so fast. Outdoors, I've had the pleasure of climbing with him at my local favorite crag, the Temple. And Ben Hanna making that jump look easy.
Oh. He had a lot of hop on that, which really makes it hard to stick. And Alex Johnson already on the last move, looking for a little pogo.
Yes.
You notice she didn't overpower that, so she was able to stick it with a lot of tension, and that was just so awesome to see. So Alex Johnson has done the best she can. She is going to just watch and wait to see. Currently, she sits in first.
with 2 tops.
2 tops and 2 zones. Julia Duffy took 6th in lead the other day, so she is certainly a competitor. Maybe a little tired.
She just missed the good part of that hold.
She's one of our taller climbers too at 5'8" with a +4 wingspan. So maybe that will serve her well for some of these routes.
Ollie topping men's 1, hopefully.
Yep, gotta make the
Control.
match.
And he
There
does.
it is. A solid move. Meanwhile, Katie Bone, again, another Albuquerque local, just got spit off of that problem, man. That looked really tough.
Ben Hanna eyeing up the top again. Oh,
He's assessing. You can see as he's putting his left hand out, he's trying to find the best way to get up without swinging out because he recognizes that that outward motion is going to spit him right off.
Page here on women's 3. That start on those volumes is not easy.
Yeah, I think it could even feel a little frustrating for some of the athletes today. So now Julia riding that bicycle move through the first moves here. They put those 2 red holds together where her left hand is intended to force some accuracy for that zone hold. The match and then, the toss. And you can see it's blind because she was all over it but not quite on it.
We can see it's blind. We have Simon working his way up the pinches. He has a zone there. Now just going for that top white hold.
It is a pretty good hold, but you have to catch it and secure it. Otherwise, no matter how good it is, it won't feel that great. With a terribly sad fall from Ben, that was frustrating. He's got some time. Katie's looking to navigate her way through these 2 green triangles. You can see she's looking at it. She's eyeing up her options, thinking about the Gaston move and pushing off of her left foot over into then matching, hopefully, as a side pull. But that is just a really hard route, and the worst part about it is it's exhausting. So she's having to use a lot of energy there too. 1 minute remains. We'll see who can finish up a problem in the last minute.
Oscar sticking that.
That was beautiful with his Hawaiian shirt flowing behind. Ooh, a little sense of urgency here, but he gets it. That's an exciting moment for him. Good way to end his semifinals round. And Ben,
finally.
yes, finally a top from Ben. Oh, we are all very excited to see that from Ben. With 29 seconds now, all eyes on Katie. Katie's looking for a way across those 2 green triangles.
For the elusive top of women's 2.
But she's powered out. Those are some incredibly strenuous shoulder moves. So hopefully she can get her energy back and do well on the next couple of routes. Katie still sits in second with 1 top. One of only 2 women actually to have a top at all.
And in the men, Joe Goodacre is in the lead with 3 tops, and Kai Leitner also has 3 tops, and Oscar has 3 tops, but they are separated by attempts. We have Zach Richardson making that jump look pretty easy, just trying to figure out the best way to do it. And
Ooh,
he does
yes.
it, the double dyno.
And it's his first go, so that will be 1 attempt, which is going to be important, I think, for the ultimate shakeout of the standings for the men. Number of attempts.
Yeah, as I mentioned, the top few competitors are all just divided by attempts. We have Adrienne Clark on the zone here on women's 4. Looks like is she thinking about skipping it? No. Okay. I think she thought about skipping that hole for a second.
Chloe Koskoy is at the very last move now of women's 1. Well, it looks like we may have a top in short order there
By
from
Derek New.
Ooh, some wild falls can happen off of that one if you swing back into that volume. But these climbers are all pretty well versed in how to fall and how to fall safely. So Nora's gonna hop back up again and see if she can secure that interesting little hold that sticks out from the wall. The
And
nose.
She did. The nose.
The
I like
nose.
it.
Nora does the nose. Just a different one.
Not to be confused with the one in Yosemite.
Yes, that's the bouldering comp nose. Adrienne Clark on her way back up again. She knows the top hold is right there for her. How is she going to get there? What is her plan? Is she going to huck and do the pogo for it? Is she going to find a high heel, maybe off the volume? There are some options.
We have Solomon working his way through those pinches. He was looking pretty good there. Chloe on number 1.
She fell going to the last hold last time, so she is probably, hopefully figuring out how to do those last moves, but maybe looking a little tired.
Yesterday was a very long day.
Yeah, 4 hours for qualifiers is pretty huge. They want that amount of time so they can, put in all the efforts that they need to in order to get the tops, but it's also just incredibly exhausting. And the women finished up at 8 p.m.
Yes.
I mean, I was well into my pajamas and on my couch at 8 p.m., so I'm sure that they're feeling that exhaustion this morning. And then anybody that makes finals will be back again tonight at 6 p.m., which by the time we're done will only be 6 hours away from the time we finish today. So it's a quick turnaround for these athletes, really questioning their fitness.
Adrian on the zone again.
And you can see kind of some double action right now as Megan Lynch is on the zone for women's number 3 and making it, I believe, higher than we've seen so far looking at the top. Oh, so her options there are to go left like she just did, or she could go right and palm out left, which is going to be a wild move with some interesting shoulder action. I'm hoping we'll get to see it. We'll see if she chooses to try it again in the 38 seconds that remain.
Oh, all the climbers dropping it like it's hot. Except for Adrian here, who's looking for a top on women's 4.
And actually, Megan's changed her mind with just 20 seconds left. She's hopping back on. She looked so good. She needs to figure out how to do that last move if she has the energy to get up there. She has 10 seconds, which is plenty of time in which to do it. But those darn dual textures, man, she tried to put her thumb on to hold on to it as a pinch and just got spit right off.
And you just can't rush moves on those holes.
No, and she had to rush. Out now for the men is Victor Bouldering. That is the brother of Oscar. I'm sure there's some proud parental units out there today. Having 2 children in finals is pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
And then for the women will be Allison Vest. Allison did very well in the last North American Cup comp bouldering. I believe she took 2nd. So she's doing really well. She's had a really good season. She is battling a knee injury, but it doesn't seem to slow her down.
And Allison was also one of the women who found a top at 7:59.
Ooh, tenacious. Also, she might be tired. So Ollie's eyeing up this crazy foot kick. It is really complex. And just finding it hard to get himself up and over top of his foot, which is really a mystery to me as well. Just needs to keep pushing off her foot through that on women's 1 to get the final hold.
And Paige popping off women's 4 there. We have Simon on men's 4, hitting the zone hold. Beautiful.
That's such a fun movement to watch. It's so wild. It's so exciting. And then you have to go to this tenuous heel hook and these delicate moves after such an explosive move. You can see he snuck in that right toe hook around the volume too to make that match. These climbers have so many skills, so many tools in their toolbox that they acquire over time.
We have Katie here.
Women's 3. Katie trying to find her way through these really interesting blocky volumes that I think are much more challenging than maybe they look from here. But it's just such an interesting angle too, where you're sort of into the wall very close and you're having to reach out and find something usable.
Victor here.
Yeah, I think he's rethinking his beta before he hops on again next time. Well, Paige digs into these dual textured jelly beans.
And slips right off.
You know, I watch Ollie climb a lot in the gym, and he is so dynamic and so good at these kinds of moves, like the move on men's number 2. So I'm sort of surprised to see him struggle, but I do think he's going to figure it out. I have faith.
Allison trying women's 1 again, moving quickly through the beginning section here.
Oh, I wonder if that knee is bothering her. That's a really difficult pull with her left foot on that white volume.
We have Victor here going for the... Oh!
Wow, that was an impressive save, Victor, but maybe a little use of energy that may come back and bite him. Oh, yeah.
I thought he had that.
Yeah, he needed to get up a little higher on that, I think. I've noticed the men that are sticking or hitting a bolt hole are higher on it, and that's to create the opposition. I just missed, anyway, Ollie's go there, but he obviously figured this out.
And he holds a double clutch, and he's very excited about that.
He just did a little finger pull up on that. Like, he hit it pretty extended in his fingers and then just wrapped it up and pulled up. And that speaks to his finger strength. Not surprised.
Julia Duffy hitting a zone hold. Let's see if she can figure out how to go through these green holds here.
Let's go, Katie.
You know, as somebody that just did well in lead climbing, I'm sure her ability to be up on a route like that and spend some time figuring out the beta is something she probably excels at. Katie was looking for her last go there on women's 3, but got spit off by those blocky volumes. And now we're up to our next climbers. We should have Maya Madera out for the women and Ross Fulkerson out for the men. Ross took 4th in lead this week, so he's proven himself as a very solid lead climber as well. He's competed in World Cups in bouldering, so he's no stranger to this platform. He's very solid at competition, and I expect that he should do well today.
And Maya has been bouldering in World Cups and doing lead World Cups as well since 2016.
She took 2nd this week in lead, which she was really excited about because lead is something she has not thought to be her strength for a while.
She qualified with 4 tops and 5 zones in prelims.
Now we have number 40, Megan Lynch, looking pretty solid. Let's see if she can pogo up with some control. It was almost like she tried to not power so much that she underpowered to that last hold.
And a top from Ross.
Yeah, Ross Fulkerson, I think he's going to do pretty well today. And Maya trying to figure out that powerful move out to the last hold.
And we have a top from Solomon on men's 4.
Ooh, we can see the froggy now happening from Chloe Koskoi. You know, this is the kind of position I imagine Chloe does well in. She's really strong in her shoulders, but she has 3.5 minutes left, so there is time to get that figured out. She just has to maintain the energy. While Derek New tries to figure out that crazy momentum over.
Megan Lynch on the jelly beans.
Come on, Megan. Yeah, Megan, come on.
Oh, her hand just slips right off the top hold.
You know, Megan Lynch did really well earlier this year. She made the World Cup semifinals in Salt Lake City, so she is also somebody that we should keep an eye on as potential for finals, hopefully in the future too.
Nora, number 27, trying to wrestle those volumes. She has a very interesting start. She kind of goes back and taps the first volume, but doesn't really weight it too much.
Ooh, oh, and that is not control, so Derek will not get that control. He'll have to try it again, but with 2 minutes left, he should be able to find that top. Maya Madere, number 14, shoulder rolls before she starts into this problem. Women's 1 has been surprisingly hard. I thought that we would see more tops on it than we've seen, especially with that last move.
She looks smooth up to here so far. Hopefully she'll have enough power to stick this last move. And a cool split screen there on Maya.
Unfortunately, Maya missed the peanut. She knew that she needed to reach out to the hold with control, which she did, but she wasn't sure where that hold was. So she'll have to take a look before she goes next time and have a good sense of the location of that peanut hold.
Oh.
Derek, be very careful this time. He's not messing around. Oh, no. Oh, that is really heartbreaking to have that happen twice. And he was so careful that time, too. And it still just did not quite work out. Number 42 now, Chloe Koskoi. I'm going to be curious to see how she does on women's number 2. She looked the closest so far on those crazy gas stone moves.
But she just hung out a while with no feet on that awful crimp.
Meanwhile, we have a top from Zach Richardson.
Yes.
Now, the top, she has to get both hands there, and I think that this is going to be no easy feat. She has to really figure out her balance for this match.
Oh!
And with 16 seconds left, she's not going to get it, but we finally have a top from Derek, which was hard-earned, and I'm sure he'll be both frustrated and relieved about.
It's nice to see that a top is possible on women's 2 there.
Yeah, totally.
Chloe gave us a glimpse on that. It can be done.
Now we're down to the last 3 athletes. So the athletes that finished qualifiers in the top 3 spots. For the women out, we have Ella McRitchie. And for the men, we have Ross Fulkerson. Nope.
Xander
We
Waller.
have Xander Waller. So we're down to the last 2 men for the semifinals.
In the qualifiers, some of the problems were actually the same for men and women. Like one problem was unchanged between the 2. So that was something interesting that I learned. I didn't know that sometimes they just keep the same problems, which is, I think, as a woman, I like.
Yeah, we can match up. Katie figuring out, she looks actually pretty comfortable in that position when she had that heel over there. She was checking out that little hold to see if it would work for her.
Victor just falling off there.
That's a theme for that move, it seems, and some men can stick it. Some have the finger strength.
And Allison near the top. Allison Vest, number 22.
She just has to match it. She's behind Katie there, but an exciting moment. There she is. See if we can get a top from Allison. This would be huge for her.
Oh.
And I feel like that's going to be something we maybe don't see today as a top on that one. That one's really difficult. Ben Hanna looking for a top on men's 4. A top for him would be really, really good. Good news for him.
And Katie also trying to figure out how to get to that hold, and now let's see what she tries. Oh,
that was so close to controlled.
I think she's got it next time now, though.
So Ben is really looking for a top on this 4th problem, and he was close. So if he can get a top on that, that will put him in contention for making finals, although I don't know quite yet if that will guarantee him. There will be some contention here.
So he has 3 tops and is currently sitting in 4th.
Oh, he did top that. Okay. Sorry, the screen must have moved away right when he was doing that.
We have Julia Duffy trying to make that zone. Looks like she's did a heinous match on a really, really small, slopey crimp there, the green hold.
Ella McRitchie on women's 1.
Looking just a little tired there. Is that tape on Julia Duffy's leg to help with knee barring?
I think it is. I don't think it was there before. And, you know, I tried this problem earlier, and I have pants on, and my knee, I took a look at it when I was in the bathroom, and it's all scuffed up. That is an aggressive knee bar. We'll see if Allison can figure out a way to... Oh, that is a kind of a wild, unexpected fall when your fingers just pop off like that.
Julia playing the piano there on that green hold.
She shakes her hands in excitement because she knows she only has 30 seconds left.
And Victor trying to figure out how to have control for that last move. Couldn't hold the barn door.
Oh, he took off some tape on the way down. So now Julia is using that knee bar, rocking her way around it, looking for that reach. A little bit of height there helps her reach up to that green hold, looking for the zone before the time runs out.
And
That's
she
secure.
did it!
That's all she cared about. She just needed that zone there. She got it. She understands the importance of zones in the competition.
On women's 1, we have Madison Fisher. And this should be Zach Gala.
Madison Fisher only signed up for bouldering. She's just here to play on the boulders this week, despite the speed and lead options. My kind of girl. We're looking at Nora Chi on women's 4.
Nora easily made it to the zone. She showed control, so she'll get points for that.
Nora's only had one zone so far on problem number 1, and now this zone, so a top would be good for her, but maybe still not enough for her to make it into finals today.
I believe that was a top by Zach Richardson and Ross Fulkerson.
As we get to the end of the climbing session here, we're at the strongest, or at least the top qualifying people, so we can expect to see some of these problems go down quicker and some that we haven't seen go down at all happen.
Yeah, Zach qualified in first place with 7 tops in the least amount of attempts. And look at that strength.
Yeah, that's something that's a little more superhuman than actual human, but I'm glad to see he was able to top that. Nora Chi looking to finish off her bouldering round today with a top. And she's still struggling to find her way, like many before her on that. Maya Madere on women's number 2, making that hop up look pretty easy. It is not. She's looking for the heel to get out to the zone problem. Wrapping that crimp up to get as much power as you can off of it. And let's see what her method is. Maya's another female climber I look at as somebody with very strong shoulder power. So she's somebody I would predict to do very well on this problem, although it's proving to be incredibly challenging. Okay, so now all she needs to do is match that top. She's looking for a heel toe there, which is pretty interesting. I'm not sure there's enough surface area to throw a heel toe or toe into that section. Looking for all the different surfaces she could possibly use, though, which is really a sign of her experience.
She's giving us a lesson in technique here. She's trying every footwork you could think of.
Going back to previous ones, the one thing she hasn't tried is what she's about to try, which is left foot on, right foot flags, to try to just tension through. I wonder if she wasted enough energy that she just didn't have it to make that work, or if that method just won't work for her at all. Perhaps a further right flag.
That matching the top hold seems to be the crux of that problem. So in bouldering, it's never over until it's over.
Athletes now taking that 1:30 rest, taking a look, brushing things before they step on. Derek News stepping on to the men's problem with that pretty cool toe hook, which we really hadn't talked about yet. Now Nora making her way up, women's number 4. Sticking that hold, which I think maybe is the first time she's done that, and choosing to flip into that volume, which I think is an interesting idea for getting more power out of that. The women's standings right now, so far, if you've made a top, then you are looking pretty good for finals. So Alex Johnson had 2 tops. Megan Lynch topped the last problem, and Katie Bone topped the first problem. So that's the top 3 people right now.
We have Madison Fisher here looking for a top on women's 1.
As the woman who qualified in second behind Melina Costanza, she is favored to make it into finals, but anything can happen. There's almost a dramatic look at, like, how far away is it? It's just too far. Oh, frustration on Maya Madere's face as she only has 22 seconds and fell on something that she had done easily before. She's going to have to really hustle to get through this section, and she has to have a plan picked. She can't mess around with finding the right body positioning. Is she going to choose to go with her right foot out or a toe hook? She tried the toe hook.
She nearly made it, though. That was quite impressive. Fast climbing up there.
It's very fast, very efficient. I think if she hadn't had that earlier fall on that attempt, she would have potentially had more time. Now out for the women, we have our final woman, Melina Costanza. She has been so on fire this week. What a pleasure to watch. We haven't seen her fall on, we didn't see her fall on any of her lead climbs, and she was the only one to do that. Very impressive climber. I saw her climbing at Stone Age earlier in the week before the competition started at the other location, and I was just baffled by her power and strength and the fact that she makes everything look incredibly easy. So I think she should do well, but I don't want to curse her.
She was the only athlete and qualifiers to top 6 boulders.
So she does fall because there were 8.
True.
Okay, I just didn't know if she fell. We saw a top there from Victor Badron. And already Melina's at the top. That was quick. Excitement all over the screen. Wow, that was such a close one.
by Xander Waller.
Xander has lots of time to figure that out. He just needs to slow it all down a little bit. Meanwhile, Julia Duffy's looking pretty strong on women's 4. Is she going to pogo and stick it? No. That one's been so challenging. It seems like most women are able to get up that high, at least in the second half of the group. But very few, just Alex, right, has been able to stick that. Oh, and Megan Lynch.
Yes.
Two women have stuck that final move.
Ella sticking that throw, and Allison here wrestling the volumes.
Ella McRitchie looking really solid. Is she going to find her path through this upper section? She's got an interesting little right leg smear into the underside of that volume. That was interesting. And a knee. Well, she is creative. If nothing else, this woman's creative. And her shirt matches those holds up there, so it's meant to be.
Julia just slipping off the top hold once again. And Xander going with one hand and managing to control it.
And by going just with one hand, he kind of drug that other hand behind and slowed down that whole momentum. Whereas if he tried to go both hands at the same time, he maybe would have thrown himself off. So that was pretty cool. Allison making that reach through to the green hold. Looking for the zone. That would be great on this particular problem, as many women haven't even found the zone here.
And she manages that. She controlled it long enough.
And the objective for her will then be to match over top of her other hand and then reach out to the volume.
Julia choosing the more static heel hook beta there to get up to the zone. But
Ooh.
a surprise slip.
Oh, they're falling all over the place. It's the end of the round. We can see now we only have 2 climbers left on the wall. That's partly because we're down to the last few climbers. So we have no more climbers on women's or men's 1. And we'll start to see this wall empty out. If you're interested in the scoring, you can go to usacresults.org/scores. It will show the scores. You can click through and see how everybody's done in lead and speed as well, which is already over. And you can see the current semifinal standings for the boulderers. We will be back tonight at 6 o'clock for finals, so be sure to catch the action. It's bound to be a good show.
And Ella, she's just a sophomore in high school, but she qualified in 3rd, and she's competed in American Ninja Warrior Junior twice.
That's where that power comes from. It's a powerful sport, Ninja Warrior.
It sure is. Julia's still quite not figuring out how to latch that top hold, and Ella giving a couple last tries here.
And Julia would probably need a top here to be in contention for finals with 19 seconds left.
She's back on the wall.
It could happen. She takes a breath before she makes that bump, but oh, she's tired. It's the end of that round for her.
So Zach Gala out on men's 2, making sure everything's nice and brushed, because again, when the chalk collects, it makes it slippery.
There's the standings on your screen right now with Jack Richardson, all 4 tops, Joe Goodacre with 3, as well as Simon, Kai, and Ben, and Oliver, and Oscar, all having 3 tops. What separates them was just the number of attempts. Women's standings, Alex Johnson sitting in first with the only woman as having 2 tops, with Megan Lynch and Katie Bone following behind with 1 top each, having their rounds completed. Melina Costanza is just getting started with just 1 top, but she has only done 1 problem, so we can expect to see more tops from that woman. Back to the action now.
You have Zach on the wall. Oh, a little foot slip there, but he remained composed. Easy.
Zach Ellis climbed at least V15 according to my research, which is just super impressive. These men are putting down some really strong boulders and are showing it in their abilities indoors as well. And a top from Zach.
And he managed to go rather dynamically, but still held it.
So that's 2 tops now for Zach Galla. If he were to walk away from competition right now, he would be sitting in 13th. We can expect him to continue to move up the rankings as he goes with more tops, hopefully. Derek New on men's 4. Derek New sitting in 12th. He has 2 tops. Another top would be a really big help for him, but maybe not enough to push him into finals depending on how others do behind him.
Well, he's on a roll on this one.
Yeah, he's looking very solid, just looking for that match.
And he does it.
And we'll see how that pushes him up the score. An almost top there. But again, that control is just so difficult on women's number 4.
And Madison here on the top section of women's 2, I believe.
So Derek New has moved into the 8th spot, which would be the spot for him to move into finals. That said, there are still climbers to go, so assuming that the climbers that are still out do not top, he will go into finals. So now he's just left to hold his breath and hope.
Madison trying many different foot placements here, and she finds it.
Wow, that was great strength, flexibility, and control. Well done.
Wonderful toe cam. I wonder if she's a crack climber.
It was impressive.
We have Maya Madere here, making quick work of the beginning part of this volume problem.
Maya's had no tops yet. Realistically, she does need to get at least 1 top to be in contention. This problem could really be her problem, though. We'll look to see if she goes right hand for the top or left hand. It'll be an exciting finish if she goes right hand.
Chloe making easy work of the beginning part of this, but in a weird position there that she just couldn't get out of.
Yeah, she kind of cupped the point of that volume. She realized that she'd pulled herself a little bit off balance. I'm really hopeful we get to see Maya try this last move. It's so interesting. The idea is that if you go up right hand to the last hold, that she will then stick her left hand out onto that volume and stop the momentum of her spinning off. And that's the kind of move I can imagine Maya will do very well on if she can get back up there.
So we have Maya back on now with only 30 seconds remaining.
That's all she needs, unless she wants another try. And then it's not. So she's going to look to bring her feet up, and then she can either go right hand to the top or left hand. She's going to go right and palm out just like that. Her issue was that she was too low. If she had gotten her body a little higher, she would have been able to lock out her arm a little bit more and push up into it to take the pressure off, but she was too low on it. Really excellent glow, and I'm so glad we got to see somebody try it that way. We now have Melina Costanza on women's number 2. I think she excels in those upper Gaston type moves. We saw something sort of similar body positions, similar body tensions in her final lead route, and she cruised through them. And in her interview, she was really excited and said that she felt like that route really suited her style. So I'm curious to see if this is also going to be the case with this boulder problem.
The question is, what doesn't she excel in?
That's
so
fair.
far, she seems to cruise most of everything.
So we're looking at Melina Costanza there on women's 2 as she tries to decide what the best approach might be for her on those level volumes. Powerful hop up. Ooh, she had to fight a little bit to stay on, but she got it. Campus is out. Does she frog for the last move? Does she toe hook? Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself.
I'm going to bet she does a toe hook cam, as we saw previously.
I'm going to go for the frog. Huh? She doesn't know either. Oh, heel. We're both wrong.
And she does it. Well, technically that was a toe heel cam.
All right, you win, Fabio.
Not
you
the
win
one
this one.
Not the one I was thinking of, though. So we have Victor here on number 4. And Allison on women's 4.
Victor only has one top, so he's going to be looking for another top on this. Allison, too, is seeking a top. She's sitting in 7th right now with no tops, but zones on everything. She actually, I think, really does need a top here in order to stay in the rankings of moving on to finals.
She absolutely needs a top. She knows she needs a top, but she was just grabbing her knee. So I'm worried that her knee is really, really bothering her right now.
And it's crazy. Allison is just ahead of Adrian. The difference is they both got all the zones, but for boulder number 3, the zone came for Allison in 3 tries and Adrian 4 tries. So you can see that the difference in these athletes and their ability is pretty minimal. They're all very strong. I think we're seeing the most stacked field that we've seen in a long time. It used to be fairly predictable who would come out on top. And that predictability is sort of going by the wayside as these athletes get stronger.
And on men's 3 here, Xander is moving pretty quickly and efficiently up, but something just wasn't right.
Those pinches, especially with that angle with both hands facing the same way, really don't allow him to come around his foot, so he's sort of gotten himself stuck when they're both facing up that way.
Allison has his bottom part wired.
A little bit of fatigue is setting in, though. She looked a little shaky on that bump.
Oh, a foot slip.
That is so frustrating. And you're right, when she hopped down, I could tell she was favoring her knee a little bit. Well, Ella rides the knee bar. That's going to hurt later. I'm wondering if she turns and faces it all, if we can see a big red mark on the front of her knee. Victor is looking for the finish. A beautiful movement through there. That is just the prettiest movement, I think, on this whole competition to watch so far, as he throws up that kind of tenuous heel hook that he needs to ride throughout the end here. Route setters were saying this match is really difficult, and you can see that as he's just sort of inching his way over, keeping the body tension. There it is.
He does it.
He fought hard for that.
He definitely did. Then we have Xander here trying again to find a top on this pinch monster of a problem.
He's got both hands facing up. If he does it that way, he really has to pull himself around his foot kind of quickly to grab onto that top hold. Otherwise, he's just going to keep moving backwards. 15 seconds remain, and Ella McRitchie looking for, I assume, the zone hold. But she's more or less out of time, although attempting one more time. Maybe, maybe not.
She thought about it. So now we have Zach Gallup brushing the holds. I'll be curious to see how he does on that top pinch there.
Zach Gallus flashed both of his first 2 climbs, so he's on a roll. He does need to get 1 to 2 more, really and truly, to get into the finals. So hopefully for him, this one will go down as easily as the others have before.
And Maya's making quick work. Women's 4 so far. She's already at the zone.
She's just trying to figure out how to bump with her left hand. Let's see if we can get another flash out of Zach.
So far, he's looking pretty comfortable on those pinches.
He's going to have to pop around his body, and there it is. Sneaky little toe hook helps him with that match. Well done. He is absolutely on fire today. Well done.
We have Madison Fisher on women's 3. Also using that knee bar to get up there. And she's rubbing her knee. I'm
Yep.
sure it hurt.
It does hurt. It's very sharp, very very effective. But the thing about the knee bar too is you have to be a certain height, I think, for it to really work well for you. If you get stuck in that knee bar, I think it's difficult to continue to reach up to that green hold that maybe some of our shorter climbers have struggled with. Maya Madere currently sitting in 10th with all zone holds secured.
So she really needs a top here.
Definitely. The crowd's really getting behind Maya. You can hear them cheering. She is such a favorite. Looking for that one more move that has broken so many hearts today.
Oh, I thought she had it there.
I know, she had it so slow and so controlled, but it just wasn't quite there for her.
Madison has the zone on that problem, but just couldn't stay on.
So Madison, as it stands, sits in 5th place. She does have 2 zones and 1 top.
And we have Ross here on men's 4. Looking strong on that toe hook. And looking strong on that throw.
In general, would you say he's strong?
I think so.
A top here for Ross is really important. There we go. He was in 10th moving into this boulder problem. Now he moves into 1st.
That problem illustrates how much climbing is a full body workout. He had to do a throw that really used his upper arms, but to top, you have to weight your heel. It's a full body workout.
So Ross Fulkerson and Zach Richardson are the only 2 people with all 4 tops. And they actually have the same number of attempts, I think, too. It looks like they're showing up as a tie for 1st right now. Maya, we're looking for a send from right now in order for her to hopefully make it into finals.
I think she can do it. Yes.
Oh! And that shows you how bad that hold is. She is one of the strongest women climbers I know of. She stuck it, but still couldn't hold on to it. That is a bad hold.
Which makes it all the more impressive that Alex Johnson and Megan Lynch were able to stick it.
For sure. Maya's got 26 seconds left. This is a really exciting moment for her.
And the crowd recognizes it.
Oh, she flipped hands? I don't know. But either way, she's out of time. Currently in 10th, so no finals for Maya.
But strong effort.
Yeah, and actually surprised for me. I would have, if I were betting on this comp, I would have put Maya in finals for sure. But she's walking away with an excellent week anyway with her lead score. I think she took 2nd in lead finals.
You are absolutely correct.
There's a lot of information this weekend. I was like, I'm pretty sure I just said that she was in 2nd earlier, but now I don't know. So we have 2 ladies on the wall in our view here, Ella McRitchie and Melina Costanza.
And Melina's been a beast so far, so I'm very excited to see what she does here. Xander Waller on men's 4, using that double toe hook. And he manages to stick that pretty easily.
Xander Waller's had 2 tops in one zone. He's currently sitting in 14th. So this problem will be important for him as well. Although I think 3 tops may not be enough for him today to get into, well, it depends. We'll have to see. Number of attempts. This is his first attempt.
So good work from Xander. And looks like we just missed Melina.
Of course.
She climbs so fast.
She needs her own camera at all times because otherwise we'll miss all of her amazing action. So Xander Waller, with that flash, he actually moved into 4th, a tie for 4th with Simon Hibbler. So that puts him into the finals. It's really important to get these problems done quickly, especially for the men. It is coming down to attempts.
And right now we have Ollie on the bubble.
Yeah, with Zach Gala has 1 climb left, and Oliver's currently sitting in 8th, Oliver Kwong. So if Zach Gala tops this last one, he should move ahead.
And we have Ella on the zone here. Fighting to hold that. And just not quite hitting that top hold.
I misspoke earlier. It is the top 6 men and top 6 women that go into bouldering finals, not top 8. So that changes a little bit on who we're seeing going on to finals today.
So it's actually Kai Leitner on the bubble.
Yes.
And we still have Zach Gala to come out.
Yeah, for his last one. Right now, our top 6 are Melina Costanza. She could walk away right now and she would be in 1st. She doesn't have to do her last problem. She could just walk away and still come out of semis on top with 3 flashes. Behind her is Alex Johnson, Megan Lynch, Katie Bone, Madison Fisher, and Chloe Koskoy for the top 6 at the moment. Ella McRitchie, though, she is sitting in 17th at the moment with 0 tops. So if she tops right now, that won't. That would put her into 5th. So
a top is very critical for her right now.
Yes.
All right, guys, let's help her out. Come on, Ella, you got this. Come on. Come on, Ella, come
Looking
on.
strong so far in the beginning.
42 seconds left. This could be her last go. Oh. She's going to be replaying that for a while.
She's chalking up. It looks like she might give it one last attempt here.
I mean, 27 seconds. Crazier things have happened.
And a top would change everything for her.
Yeah. She's putting it all out there right now. She's got 18 seconds. That's plenty of time, actually, to finish this.
Oh.
She went for that direct method, which in my mind does seem to make some sense.
She actually probably held on to it the best out of all her attempts.
Yeah. I think a few more goes that way, she may actually end up getting through.
So we have Zach Gala brushing his final problem, looking for another flash.
Yes, he, like Melina, has flashed everything. The difference is he can't walk away right now because he just sits in 11th with 3 flashes. So he really does need to at least do well on this problem, but flashing it would be better. Flashing it will put him into the top spot. Sending it also will put him into the top spot.
We have Madison Fisher here on her final problem. Zach eyeing up this throw, and he sticks it. So far he's on the road to another flash.
Just the last move here. The match is so strenuous. Didn't look it, actually. Never mind. It's not hard. That's not a hard move. Didn't you just see? It's easy. Just do it like that.
He flashes it.
So that puts him for sure in the top spot. He's having a perfect day. We'll see if that carries through in finals tonight.
So the men are done, but there is now an appeal time.
And we'll take a look at those scores after we have seen Madison Fisher finish up her effort here with 3.5 minutes and making it to basically the final move. She does look pretty good. Madison's currently sitting in 4th where she stands, so she actually could just call it quits now and make it onto finals. But she doesn't know that. The climbers don't know their standings. So for her right now, she's just trying her hardest. She wants the top, and she knows that tops are important. For the men, currently, unofficially, we have Zach Galla, Ross Fulkerson, Zach Richardson, Joe Goodacre, Xander Waller, and Simon Hibbler going on to finals, unofficially. Kai Leitner and Ben Hanna and Ollie Kwong just missed. So I'm sad to see some of our locals didn't make it through.
But they had amazing performances.
Absolutely.
We're over here really smiling and happy for y'all.
We will have Caitlin Bone, a local here to Albuquerque, moving on into finals tonight.
Madison, the only climber out there, I wonder if she feels the extra stress with all eyes on her.
So actually, as it stands, we do have our women's top 6 established and the order established. So we'll have Melina Costanza, Alex Johnson, Megan Lynch, Madison Fisher, Caitlin Bone, and Chloe Koskoy, with Allison Vest just missing that final spot, which, if her knee is bothering her, may be a good thing to take a little break. But no matter what Madison does or Melina does today, it actually, her placing may shift. Madison's may shift if she tops this, but she's still going on to finals. It just depends on which spot she goes into.
And the order you place in semifinals affects the order you compete in finals. But is there an advantage to coming out first or last?
I love coming out first because the crowd just is psyched to see you do anything. And so I feel always very supported by that. I have been first out a lot, not just because of being in last after semis, but also just by order and in qualifying format. That's a little different from here, and it's been great. There's a lot of pressure in being in first.
Madison doing well here, moving very fast.
With just 27 seconds left, this likely will be her last go, although being that it's, her last climb, she could just turn around and hop back up. She's choosing not to. She's calling it a day. Smart move, because she is saving energy for finals that she does not yet know she has made.
And saving skin.
Oh, yeah, a lot of these holds are new. If they're not new, they're incredibly clean, so they're very crisp. Melina coming out just to put on a clinic for us now because her placing's already set as first going into finals, but we can all enjoy the show, I'm sure.
Let's see if she manages to flash all 4 problems. So far, she has flashed the first 3. This one would be a very impressive one to flash because the top hold is hard to hold on to.
Yeah, especially as a flash. Although Alex Johnson did it, so it can be done. This problem has only seen 2 tops, Alex Johnson and Megan Lynch. But Melina had the only top on Boulder 2 and 3, so she's no stranger to being the first.
Making very quick work, and it almost looks like so far she might do it.
You know,
And she does.
that was so amazing. And the difference was from the other competitors is her shoulder engagement. When she hit that, she still had her shoulder engaged, and it gave her that much more power. Big smile behind the mask. She looks very pleased, very relieved. If you want to check out the final results, you can go to usacresults.org. You can also see them on your screen as they stand. Again, Melina Costanza having a perfect day. We'll see if that continues on with Alex Johnson following behind her in second with the two tops. Our very own Katie Bone moving on. We're very excited as she's a New Mexico Mojo team member. She's just 15 years old.
And Chloe will be rounding out the field.
For the men, Zach Galla having an equally perfect day. He and Melina are the king and queen of climbing today with all flashes. Ross Fulkerson not far behind, though. Zach Richardson, Joe Goodacre, who had a great speed run on Friday as well. And then Xander Waller and Simon Hibler fall into that fifth place shared spot, which equals out the fifth and sixth spots. There will be a short appeal time now for the climbers to make sure there's no issues, but you can assume that these final results are set at it as is. We will see you tonight. Come back for all the fun.
Yes.
All the action will be here at 6 p.m. for the men's and women's finals of the North American Cup Series.
I hope y'all enjoyed semifinals as much as we did, but I'm sure finals will be an even better show.
Signing out, I'm Molly Rennie.
And I'm Fabia Dubik. Until next time.
At this time, we're going to kindly ask you to go support our friends over at Semifinal across the street. And what I mean by that is you all need to get out of here so that we can set the finals. So go get some coffee, go get some beer, go get some delicious food, and get out of here. We love you.